What's up, YouTube? It's Coach Cory. We are back with another Real Talk with Coach Cory, where I go over your hard-hitting questions. But before we get into your questions, I just want to give you guys a little life update on what's been going on in my life, because it has impacted the channel and it will continue to impact the channel probably for a few months at least. But the long story short is that my girlfriend has been having some health problems. She's gonna be okay, but it has been very stressful, and that's definitely impacted both of us a lot. And you might have noticed that, you know, I've been uploading kind of infrequently, a little bit inconsistent. This is partially why I'm having to drive in between a couple states to, I don't really want to go into like too many details because it's not my story to share, I feel like. But as a result of all of this, one thing that's gonna have to happen is we're gonna have to move houses. So right now I'm in the process of trying to find a new place to live, and I'm going to be moving basically as soon as possible. So that will definitely be impacting. There might be a week or two where I'm not uploading as frequently. I'll let you guys know. But I'll also have a new studio, or a new room really. But yeah, now into the questions, and I'll do like timestamps for like all the questions so you can jump around if you want. Today's video is sponsored by Cookie Run Kingdoms, an RPG and base building game that expands on the Cookie Run universe. Welcome to my kingdom. It's a work in progress. I just started. But hey, building your kingdoms is one of the most important things in Cookie Run Kingdoms. You can move around all your buildings, place them wherever you want, clear a bunch of different trees, so you can expand and get a bigger kingdom. And of course, unlock lots of different buildings and decors to spruce it up. But on top of building your kingdom, there's also over 200 campaign levels for you to play and test your abilities. But what would that be without a ton of different playable cookies, characters for you to play and choose? Now here's a little taste of the combat. Abilities for each cookie have their own cooldown and timer here. And you can see what each one does. You got to figure out when is the best time to use each cooldown, or use each ability, not only matching it with the cooldown, but also for what works best. I pushed back a lot of enemies there. Now I'm going to hit him with a ton of AoE from the wizard here. Also, my cookies are getting a little bit lower health, so let's heal them up. So what are you waiting for? Download Cookie Run Kingdoms today. How did I plan my 100th meme review? Was it a general thing that people wanted to join in on? Or did I organize it? I organized this video. I pretty much like had it coming up, and I was like, all right, let's do something. Let's try to get some, you know, cool people on. So basically I just reached out to people and pretty much everyone said yes. All right, how did I get to know Supercell and their work? It amazes me that I went from a YouTuber to a creator with their very own creator code in a Supercell game. I mean, essentially what happened is I just started making videos on Brawl Stars. I didn't really have expectations or like expect to communicate with Supercell, but it went well. And you know, it was in beta at the time for a long time. So I did videos for at least 3, maybe like 5 months before I like really finally had contact with Ryan, who was the only community manager at the time. He reached out to me, and I basically joined this group of the other guys in the NDA, non-disclosure agreement chat, where basically, you know, what happens today, where Supercell will give you early access to info and you're not allowed to leak it, that sort of thing. But I mean, like back then, it wasn't like formal at all. It wasn't like official or anything. It was like very secretive, and not many people even knew about, you know, this group sort of thing. But Brawl Stars has come a long way. Which of my reviews is my favorite? I definitely think it's meme review. I mean, I feel like it's just the most fun personally, and like I have a lot of fun with the intros. As you can tell, I like rhyming a lot of things. And that's a fun part for me. Of course, the memes are very enjoyable too. What's my favorite movie? Do I like the Marvel movies / comics, games, TV shows? Favorite movie, I always say Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I can even today name like many quotes from that movie. I think it's fantastic. I love it. I've seen it many times. Do I like Marvel movies? For the most part, I do. I think superhero movies are generally overdone, especially when you're getting to like a third you know, movie for, you know, just one character or something a lot of times. Iron Man. Actually, there's a couple others too, but I do like Marvel in general. I haven't seen all of them. There's too many, man. They're just trying to get us so much cash. Like by doing as many movies as possible, it kind of turns me off to wanting to watch all of them. But admittedly, I've been playing a lot of Marvel Strike Force, you know, and that's all Marvel characters. So that's kind of inspired me. I've been watching a couple Marvel movies here and there recently. So being Coach Cory, what about a series or episode on tips for new players about brawlers, since a large majority of people probably don't have maxed brawlers? Also, what's my favorite foreign food? So I'll just like address this because I do love doing strategy stuff personally. I love generic, like just as a person, strategy type stuff. Like I really enjoyed chess as a young adult, but the problem is that my channel's, like the content on my channel is not in that direction. So people will come to my channel for the funny stuff, well, you tell me what you come here for. But all those people will not be the same people come to the channel as the strategy people usually. So I used to do strategy stuff and I used to do both, but it was basically like two different audiences and I wasn't able to really get it to work well. And generally speaking, the strategy stuff for me was a lot more effort for less views. So I just decided to do the thing that you guys liked more. Oh, and my favorite foreign food right now, it's probably Thai food because there's a really great Thai restaurant near me and it's just easy to walk to. I go to it a lot. Other than that, it's probably like Chinese or maybe Indian. How did I come up with the ideas for my series? Meme review, top plays, etc. Did I just think of them one day or take a lot of thought? I'll address this in like two different ways. First, just like specifically a lot of those series. I mean, like meme review, it was inspired by PewDiePie, right? You know, I think he's the master, he's the OG. And just after doing meme for a while, I was like, you know what? There's all this like other great content on Reddit that like people in Brawl Stars aren't really seeing. I thought it'd be really cool to do like a top plays series. You know, if you look really far back on my channel, you'll see some montages that I used to do, but I was like, wait, this isn't it. This is not the correct way to do this, I think, or at least for my channel. So then, you know, I moved on to top plays. But as far as like forming ideas for videos, I do spend a lot of time trying to think of new series or new ideas, or even just like how to do specific videos. I think a huge part of being a YouTuber is your creative process, and you really need to spend a lot of time just sitting down and thinking about future ideas, or even maybe you're exploring other, you know, genres, other games, or just even not games, just other things completely, trying to get different ideas. Not only are you searching for ideas, but you're sitting there thinking yourself, or maybe you get random inspiration sometimes. But I mean, in general, I have like a spreadsheet with like dozens and dozens of ideas, and I plan it out day by day for like a couple weeks in advance, if I'm able to, for trying to plan different videos. I mean, this is just like a small step for like kind of what you need to do as like a full-time YouTuber. If I could pick any content creator to do a collab with, who would I pick? Can I pick Mr. Beast? Dude, I love Mr. Beast. I watch all his videos, so it has to be him. Other than that, PewDiePie for sure. If, you know, I won't get the chance, right? But it'd be cool. All right, from Vic the Nick. Do I like the YouTube life? And did you ever think you would get this far? I never thought I would get this far, that's for sure. I still hardly believe it. I still don't feel like I act like appropriately like I should as like someone who has a lot of fans sometimes. But in general, I do enjoy the YouTube life. I enjoy the freedom that it brings. And in reality, I'm playing video games, you know, and I'm having fun. Although it kind of makes video games less fun for sure because it's a job. It's still a pretty good job, you know? I think overall, it's a really huge grind, and I'm not gonna say like I enjoy it all the time, mostly because of how stressful it can be and how much work it is. I'm pretty much working all the time, and there's no boundaries for when I'm not supposed to be working. But in general, I do enjoy the freedom and like the creativity I can do. Did I get my COVID-19 vaccine? And if so, what was the experience like? I did. I got the Pfizer vaccine. I got both shots already. First shot was not very bad. You know, my arm when I got the shot was sore for like at least a day. And I think I had like a headache for at least a couple hours. But otherwise, the first shot wasn't too bad. The second shot was definitely worse. It was basically like the day I got the second shot, that night I was kind of out of it. You know, I was like 1 second hot, 1 second too cold. So I was in that sort of thing. Maybe I probably had a fever, but that night after the second shot, it was really hard to sleep. I did not sleep well that night, kept waking up on and off. And the next day I was really groggy. But overall, it wasn't too bad. And hey, if you guys can get the vaccine, you should sign up, try and do so. All right, a couple questions here from Alexis. Have I ever been insecure about something? If so, what was it? And am I still insecure about it today? I mean, I think I'll just go one by one, I guess. Everyone has insecurities for sure. I know one insecurity I had throughout a lot of my young adulthood, and basically as I got into college, I overcame this, was, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a really hairy person. I am. And when you're young, like I was hairy at a young age. You know, I remember being in middle school with like a full arm full of hair and being like the only one in my grade basically like that. And of course, you know how middle school kids are, young kids are, they're not exactly the nicest people. So certainly that was something I was insecure about for a really long time. But honestly, you know, I started to realize that, you know, everyone has their own personal taste. Some people might really like hair on a guy, okay? Some people, you know, probably don't. But to each their own. Everyone has their own taste. You just have to sort of realize that not everyone's gonna like you for how you are, but you know what? Some people will, and those are the people that matter. Those are the people you wanna keep close to you, and that's what matters. Next, how do I overcome stress? Stress, I feel like, is definitely difficult to overcome a lot of times. Try to make sure you're smiling, relax your eyebrows. But honestly, I feel like a big way I overcome stress is I try to just keep a positive mindset. I feel like if your mentality is in the right place, you can overcome a lot of things. You know, maybe you're still gonna get knocked down, but you're gonna get back up. If you can stay positive, you can take that next step a lot easier. It's not gonna get you on the path and get you to the end goal, but it just gets you going, which I think is really what you need whenever you're in a really stressful situation. Just take a deep breath. You know, what is on my bucket list this year? Honestly, with the pandemic and everything like that, I can't say I have a super exciting bucket list at the moment, but basically it's just I want to travel somewhere. You know, I do have some travel with family plans, so I'm excited for that. And I have my COVID vaccine, so I'm looking good. But yeah, that's basically what I want to do this year. Do I have a nickname that my family or friends call me by? Not really. Because maybe it's just because, you know, Cory, it's a pretty short and easy name. Like it's, you know, I've been called Cor. You know, that's basically the only nickname I'll get from my family sometimes, but usually it's just my name. What was my favorite video game while growing up? It depends on how far back you want to go. Back on the PlayStation, it was like Crash Bandicoot Racing, Need for Speed Underground. Oh, that was a classic. I mean, if we're going to like Game Boy, it's like Pokemon, you know, all the Pokemons. And then like computer, the only game I really played on computer as a kid was like Guild Wars 2. And I played that for a while. How much of my success do I attribute to luck? In other words, if I went back in time and had to start on YouTube again, do I think I would be where I am today? I think right place, right time is actually really important for sure. But the thing is, at a certain point, it's like no longer luck, right? Because Brawl Stars was in beta for 2 years. Anyone could have jumped in, you know? It was just a question of whether you wanted to dedicate yourself to a beta game in hopes of that future. So I don't think that is luck at all. I don't think I'm here today because of luck. But it's about opportunity. There was an opportunity in a beta game for something great with a company that I trusted to make really good games. Now, I mean, if you were to tell me before I was a YouTuber that like, hey, you can be a successful YouTuber, I would have been like, whatever, dude, like get out of here. I've never done something like that. It's not like something I prepared to do or practiced to do. It just kind of happened, and it just happened to work out. So I'm definitely grateful and thankful that I'm able to be here today. Do I still live with my parents or do I have my own home? I'm renting a house right now. I did live with my parents for like a year after college, something like that, maybe a year and a half-ish. But after that, I moved out, and I've been in an apartment since. Right now, I'm renting a house. I'm not sure what I'll move to next. Have I ever got into an internet drama? You did. I mean, sure. And especially since before being a content creator, I was a pro player in Clash Royale. So, I mean, you, as pros are in a lot of video games, you know, most of the people are like 16 to like 19 or 20. So it's not the most mature group. So it can be easy to get drawn into internet drama as, you know, someone in esports. And that is when I learned that, like, okay, do not get involved in anything. Anything you say online will get screenshotted, used against you whenever they want to target you. So you really got to be careful about everything you say anywhere online. What's my favorite holiday? For me, it's unquestionably Christmas. Just because my dad's side of the family is really large. My dad is one of 9 children. So he has a ton of brothers and sisters. Everyone gets together every Christmas. We all meet up, and it is a ton of fun. It's really great to see all my extended family, just to see everyone, and in general, it's just definitely my favorite holiday. How happy, so satisfied am I with my life at this very moment? You know, it's ups and downs. I would say overall right now, it's not that bad, but you know, as I said earlier, there's some health issues going on with my girlfriend, so that, you know, puts a lot of stress on both of us. So that definitely makes it, you know, not as fun or exciting. I mean, I think all things else considered, it's going pretty well. There's definitely things, you know, that can be improved upon for sure, but it's hard to complain. And that is one thing, I don't know if you guys like know this about me, but I don't really complain that much unless it's about something competitive, right? If it is, then like I'm a super competitive person, I'm gonna get upset. Like that's gonna happen. But like outside of competitive stuff, I will typically be very flexible. I don't complain much, and I'll just kind of roll with I'll try to roll with anything that's thrown at me. All right, I've been feeling kind of sad for the past 2 months. Is there anything you think I can do? First, also, I just want to, nice comment chain, guys. Just yeah, okay. Great. Now on to the real advice. I think first of all, don't be afraid to seek counseling. I know, especially as a guy, I think a lot of guys sort of have a self-stigma against counseling and seeking help from others in general, but seriously, don't be afraid. I think, you know, a lot of people can gain a lot from that. But outside of that, one thing I think that can help you, try to figure out first of all what it is that's, you know, really frustrating you, what are your pain points, and try to make a plan about just options that you can do to sort of solve that or get around that and, you know, create a solution. And even if maybe your plan isn't foolproof, I think just having that plan and having that direction to head in can really help people and figure out, you know, just basically help them get back on their feet. And also, you know what? It's okay to take time for yourself. I think that's also important to do as well. Did I do well in school before I became a YouTuber? I guess it's all relative, right? I think I did pretty well. I wasn't a very motivated student, to be real. I wasn't the best at studying. I was a big procrastinator. I did a lot of things last minute. As I said, I think last episode, I went to a magnet school in high school where half the time I was at normal public school. The other half the time I was at like basically a school for like smart science and math kids, which to be honest wasn't the best experience, but it did help me in college. And I went to what at the time was the top 25 business school. As soon as I went there, it drops, you know, of course, like 15 ranks. But anyways, I mean, if you really want to know, my GPA in college was like 3.5. I wasn't like an honor roll student or anything like that, but I never really liked school. So yeah. All right. Hey, if you enjoyed this, check out more Real Talks with Coach Cory right over there where I answer more of your questions. Thanks so much for watching this episode, and I'll catch you later. Peace.